So let's see. Brad also told me that Bill had been told to leave St. John's, Arizona, allegedly for the same things there that he was doing to neighbors here in Eagar, Arizona. Brad said that people around this town were peaceful and minded their own business. No one had any problem with Bill's beliefs or what he was about. Some in the town agreed and some didn't. And that's anything, you know. You're going to have people who like you and people who don't. People believe in what you believe in, people who don't. That's part of life. The problem was the violent threats to kill people for coming on their own property. Now, like I said, I don't know the full truth. This is what I've been told, that's what happened to Bill. Okay? And he was doing that. The local law enforcement, along with SWAT, went after Bill by pretending to be partying teens, which is what I told you, that when teens come down there, party around that little area, Bill would confront them. Bill went down there. Typically, they said he usually walks down there, but this particular night he chose to drive his pickup truck. When Bill got there, he realized that they were not partying teens. Now, Doyle says that they didn't identify themselves at that time. I don't know when they did per se, but at any rate, Bill knew that they were agents waiting for him or whatever, police or so forth. And Bill made a run for it to jump back into his truck, and two officers jumped him. And Bill shot one of them in the head 2 times. He was still in critical condition at the time, and he was expected to survive. His name was Officer Rob Marinas, Apache County Sheriff's deputy. Now, I don't know to this day if he lived or not. I think I called a few times after all of this, and they just told me he was still in critical condition. But I've never, after all these 7 years, I've never called back to find out if he survived or not. I hope that he did, and it's a misfortune, unfortunate that situation had to happen. The SWAT team then opened fire, killing Bill on the spot. Brad said that Bill had vowed and said that if any law enforcement came on his property, he would shoot to kill. And with all the bullshit that the government does with this tax evasion, stuff like that, Bill, would just be defending his rights in that case. And for me, that's justified because of what the government, the lies and trying to ruin people's lives, trying to make them pay a tax that they don't owe. But like I said, the story or the incident that he was, bothering innocent people or threatening them, like I said, I don't know the truth, but if that's the truth, it's sad. So Brad said that prior to Bill moving to St. John's, Arizona, where he lived previous, he lived in Utah and served time in prison for illegal weapons and or tax evasion. And like I said, that legal weapons and stuff like that, it's just ridiculous. That was one of the things they went into Waco saying, that a shotgun was cut something like a 1/4 inch shorter than what it should have been, and it just gets ridiculous with all this. And I've already talked to you about the tax evasion garbage. Brad said that he personally didn't have any problems with Bill or his views, although he had never met him. Brad said that Bill rarely came out in public and had fears that the feds were somewhere around waiting to arrest him. He would have friends go get his groceries or other things he needed for him. Brad also said that the Phoenix local news had the story all wrong. But Brad did say that this incident has deeply affected this town. People wish that it didn't have to come to the end that it did. Brad's information came from people in the town, himself, of course, and local police, a local policeman. Now, the other gentleman that I'm talking about, Brad also mentioned a former best friend of Bill's named Glenn Jacobs, who felt that Bill was losing it and had broken off from Bill. He was the owner of one of the town's newspaper, the Round Valley paper. And Brad gave me Glenn's phone number. And this is the paper, you know, that Glenn ran in his city, right there. And he mailed me one after. So in closing here, let me say this. That Glenn, I interviewed Glenn on the phone. I never met him in person. I stayed in a motel overnight and I interviewed Glenn, you know, on a phone interview, you know, for that time. And I left the next day. But what Glenn had said was, and this, that Bill had done that and it confronted people and stuff like that, and any other normal citizen would have been arrested, of course. But the thing he said, this struck me, was that he said that Bill, once they got him out, and they couldn't let him back into his house alive. And I asked him why. And I had a feeling why. But he never told me. But he said, had Bill made it back into that house that night, there would have been a lot of widows in that town that night. Which indicates to me, and I know Doyle and you know, Robert know, obviously Bill had some type of arsenal, and Bill was known as a very good marksman, and he probably had something that would have blew that town up. But the strangest thing that happened was with Glenn, with me, was, you know, I asked Glenn, why did you break off from Bill? What happened there in your friendship? And before he told me, I said to him, you know, Bill was really hardcore about people being his friends and being Freemasons. All of a sudden, this guy clammed up on the phone. It's like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. And he hung up on me. So that told me right there what that was about, because Bill was real vocal about you know, Freemasons and the secret societies. He didn't like them too well, and I understand and share that same feeling with him. But in closing, let me say this, that despite whatever happened, don't let, for all you people out there researching the New World Order and Illuminati and Freemasons and all the ills of the world, don't let that energy of negativity eat you and take away your love energy, because you're going to need that energy, they call the Merkaba, of that love energy, to take you into the next level of ascension. And unfortunately, it looks like, in my opinion, that Bill lost the battle with his own demons. You know, we all have them, and we all have to learn to work through it. I went through it when I first got into this whole movement, and it's something that, you know, you have to conquer. And, you know, keep that love energy up. And thank you very much for this time, and I hope I was able to shed some light on this subject of Mr. William Milton Cooper. Thanks for your time. Bye.